It's amazing how that process works, and the reason I ask is that I have, being the host of this show, I have the opportunity to meet some amazing people and some of today's great thinkers and communicators, and I always find it fascinating to share with the audience that you were in those type of places. A lot of the audience members, Deborah, you know this, they think that you were born with this. This was,
well, that's how it works. We have our story.
Yeah.
We learn a lot. It's all the school of hard knocks, and then the next thing we know, we arrive at a point where we can reach out a hand to someone else because we've walked that path and we know exactly what they're feeling.
Now, do you travel? I see that you do the I Can Do It seminars at Hay House, fantastic seminar series that they put together. Do you come in contact with a lot of people that simply, in essence, can't get out of their own way?
It's a daily thing. I travel the country and actually the world, and I put events on where I work with audience volunteers who come up on the stage, and in less than 5 minutes, I can usually help them get a handle on exactly what the problem is. I found this works much better in groups and in public. I swore off my private practice some years ago for this reason because it's not. I think there are a number of dynamics that are occurring that make this work so successful. I think the audience is participating. There's a story I tell in my book, Truth Heals, about an Aboriginal tribe that whenever a member of the tribe got sick, they would form a circle and they would put the sick person in the center and they would allow them to speak because they knew that they would they'd urge them to speak the things they'd left unsaid because the tribe knew what we've forgotten, which is truth heals. What they also must have known was that human beings, when we get together, we support one another. And there's an actual energetic exchange that takes place. There's energy moving, and it affects us at the cellular level, and major change can occur in someone who has a moment before the audience and is able to share a little bit about what's bothering them, what's going on in their life.
It's really amazing, and just having this conversation with you, we do feedback, and feedback comes from everywhere, and it's amazing to see some of the feedback coming up. I'm going to start with Lori Ellen in Fulton, Kentucky. Writes, Steve, thank you for having Deborah King on the show. I wanted to ask Deborah, after going through a disastrous divorce with a cheating husband, I've always been open to the truth of his horrible behavior, but I have to be honest in saying that I, too, contributed to the demise of our relationship. How do I get past my own judgments? How do I look at this without judging myself into depression?
Well, the first thing I want to say to Lori Ellen is I'm so impressed that you're aware that it takes two to tango, even in a situation like that where you've got a cheating husband. Let's talk about John and Kate as an example right now. They're front and center of this very same thing. There's no doubt he's been cheating. He hasn't, evidently been man enough to admit it, or perhaps he has, and they just haven't, published it for, public viewing. But it's been obvious to me that Kate played a role in this. I don't want her to blame herself, nor would I want Lori Ellen to blame herself. But in fact, relationships are complicated. We all know that, and there's pieces that we bring to the table, parts of ourselves that need healing, and what the relationship offers is a mirror. So Lori Ellen, what I'd urge you to do is to journal about this a little bit, about what it was that you think your husband, who is now your ex, what did he bring you that was something from your childhood that had been not yet resolved? Undoubtedly, you had some experience as a child that you mirrored when you picked this man, and it might have been a parent that abandoned you, because a cheating husband is somebody who's basically abandoning you. Right. Maybe you were betrayed by a family member, because that's the marriage situation you described as a form of betrayal. But the thing I'm so impressed with is that you're already on the way down the road to healing here, healing yourself. And I would encourage you to journal and to talk a lot to your friends. Maybe get a little counseling. You're going to be just fine. And this experience will actually make you a better person.
A stronger, and you're right, it's very impressive that she's able to identify that already.
Oh, yeah, no, she's more than 50% on the way. I work with lots of people who are way much earlier in the process than Lori Ellen, and they don't have a clue yet about where to begin. They're still so busy blaming. I mean, we can spend all our time hating and blaming and being in resentment about, having been done wrong by, our partner, but in fact, that's not going to make us feel any better.
It's powerful.
And it's really not actually going to make them feel any worse.
Right.
It doesn't accomplish a thing. So the thing to do is to learn from the experience and then simply move on.
Learn from your past so they can empower your present.
Yes, our past is everything to us. It's our story, really informs our life. It takes us where we are today.
Let's continue on with the feedback. We're going to go with Rachel in Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Steve, thank you for having Deborah on. Steve, while I admit you have some great guests, usually I'll get lost in the spiritual mumbo-jumbo. I tend to be quite the secular person. I'm asking Deborah, is truth a secular person's guide to healing?
Well, Rachel, you're my kind of gal, because it is. It is absolutely. And the book I've written, Truth Heals, is not as much in the spiritual camp as it is in the secular camp. I definitely have my spiritual moments, but I really feel that truth is for everybody. It doesn't matter where you stand. It's the one thing that we can really grab and hang on to. It's our life raft, and you don't have to have a spiritual bone in your whole body to grasp it.
And I agree, and it's why I picked that question, because going through the book myself, you could definitely tell Deborah's got her spiritual beliefs, but there's truth in here, there's fact in here. And you know what's a key for me about this book, and of course, folks, we're speaking with internationally best-selling author Deborah King about her new book, Truth Heals, What You Hide Can Hurt You. Don't forget to check out our website, by the way, DeborahKingCenter.com. That's DeborahKingCenter.com. You know what I liked about this book, folks, is that in under 200 pages, she takes practical approaches, exercises, and bombards you with valid information. There is no mumbo-jumbo in this. She doesn't have to hide a lack of knowledge with all kinds of metaphors and all this. This is a woman who's been there, who understands it on all angles. It's a very impressive book, and I'm really excited to have you on. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, but no, we're speaking with Deborah King, internationally best-selling author. You may have seen her on CNN, on Fox News. You may have read her stuff in Psychology Today. She's got a lot to say, and she's got a lot of people to help. She's helped thousands of people all across the globe. Make sure you check out her website, DeborahKingCenter.com. That's DeborahKingCenter.com, and her new book, Truth Heals, What You Hide Can Hurt You. We still got plenty of time left with Deborah. Don't worry, keep the feedback coming at AOL Instant Messenger. The screen name is ABT Radio Show. You're listening to Empowered Living, Life, the Truth, and Being Free.